of get out of it a little bit, like get more meta about it. It makes it kind of loosen up a little bit and not have as much of a hold on us, I guess.
Yeah.
So I like that. So before we get started, how are you doing, by the way?
So good. Yeah.
We're on Easy Street.
I'm on Easy Street, baby. And it feels so sweet.
I was just going to play this for the whole podcast.
Oh, will you please?
We won't even talk. We'll just release 40 minutes of that.
Torture art just over and over and over again.
So
and
fine?
Make our listeners curl up into naked balls and put their hands over their ears. That'd be awesome.
By the way, before we get started, tickets are now finally on sale for Deadcast Live, which is our live show that we're doing in December, on December 12th. And we're going to cover the mid-season finale and have you guys give your input from the audience. So if you want to get in on that, go to deadcastlive.com.
I can't wait. What's the date exactly?
December 12th, Monday, 6 p.m.
In San Francisco.
Yep. So it'll be fun. All right, let's just jump right in.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
So it's Deadcast Top 5. It's our top 5 highlights for Season 7, Episode 3, The Cell, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Cell.
The Cell.
So what'd you think?
Well, I'm maybe not as sold on The Cell as possibly you are.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was okay.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
I thought it was awesome. I think this season
surprised.
is, no pun intended, knocking it out of the park. I really do. I think this was a totally unique episode, unlike anything we've seen on the show before. I thought this was one of the best Norman Reedus / Daryl episodes.
I'll agree with you there.
And I thought it was a little slower, but that's fine because I like when they vary the tone and the pacing, and especially when it's captivating, which I really found this fascinating. I mean, I've always been fascinated with cults of personality and, just any kind of cult and different ways that groups function and things like that. And I think this is a really, really well realized kind of situation, and it's thrilling in a dark way, and it's kind of funny in parts, and it's really sad and also hopeful, and there's all these different people dealing with it in different ways. So I don't know. I just thought it was one of the better Walking Dead episodes.
Let me ask you, of all the places that they've been, is this the place that you'd most want to be in the zombie apocalypse?
No. Really?
I don't know.
No way. I mean, I think the point of Easy Street, there's a lot of different reasons why they picked that song, but one of them is because Negan has at least some of these guys convinced that this is the best that they can have it in the zombie apocalypse.
They're on Easy Street, man.
And I guess if you were as brainwashed as some of these guys are, then maybe you would think that. And I would hope that I would never get to that point. But, you can't really ever tell how you're going to be in a situation like this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You just don't know.
I hope that we would choose a different despot.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Negan, but
I mean, you wouldn't even have a choice is the thing. Your choice would be the 3 options. You could be on a pike, you could work for points, or you could just work for Negan, which we'll talk more about what those 3 mean. But, or you'd either be dead or you'd be cooperating in one way or another. The real question is whether in your heart you would be with Negan or not.
Right. I was interested in the point system.
Yeah.
They didn't really go into it.
No.
But what can the points get you exactly? Is it like skee ball?
Yeah. You get tickets.
And you get like a toy prize?
You get medication if you need it. My take on that was that if you don't cooperate at all, then I guess you go out to the zombie zone, which is like, tell me if I'm wrong, because I wasn't sure, but it seemed like it was a buffer to sort of protect their sanctuary, but also it was like a punishment for people.
Oh.
That's what I thought it was.
go into the zombie zone.
Listeners, let me know. But yeah, because Dwight kept saying, you're going to be out there. And Negan said, you'll be on a pike. And then the second option was to work for points, which I think is just to do work in exchange for favors
Goods
or
and services.
supply. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
But then he said a third choice was work for Negan, and then you just get, whatever you want. And I think what that means is you go out and you collect from people like half of their stuff, or you go out and you get deserters. It's like the really tough jobs. That's what I thought what those three meant.
Sounds like not a lot of options.
No.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to the top 5.
Okay, you first.
Oh, me first? Okay.
You owe me a Coke.
You got me. All right. My number 1 is Negan. I know not everyone feels the same, but it's easier for me to get past the premiere because I've had a lot of time to live with it when it happened in the comics 5 years ago or whatever that was. I think it was 3 years ago, actually. But I'm already loving watching Negan. I think he's a great bad guy in the tradition of bad guys from great shows that we love, like Breaking Bad, Lost, True Blood, Battlestar Galactica. All these great shows have awesome bad guys. And Nick Cotero on stage in Atlanta said he thought Negan was the best bad guy on The Walking Dead since, can you guess who he said?
The governor.
Nope. He said Merle, which I thought was interesting because it may be a little bit of a slight to David Morse, but it kind of makes sense because Merle has such a big personality. And
Merle Merle was a bad guy, but Merle wasn't.
He ended up kind of turning over.
Oh, yeah. He ended up
But he was a total ass at first.
He was.
Racist and just waving his gun around and shit.
Yeah, but compared to Negan, I don't.
No. He wasn't as evil as Negan.
I think the governor is more of a comparison because he ran a society, a tiny little society, but a society.
I think you're right. I think they're probably more alike, but I think Greg Nicotero's point was just as far as which is the coolest bad guy to watch, or the best, the most fun, the most interesting.
Right.
I think it was more like that. So I think of Negan. One thing I mentioned this to you offline, but he reminds me a little bit of Tony Soprano. If people watch The Sopranos, because what got me about that show, I love that show, one of the best ever. Yeah. He was a total monster. He killed anyone who got in his way. He cheated on his wife. He stole from innocent people. And yet he was totally fascinating to watch, really funny. And people who I knew would sort of adore him. And I found myself feeling that way a little bit, but mostly I was like, I need to keep this straight in my mind that I love watching this guy, but he is a bad person. And so I don't want to get too sympathetic with him, or have any empathy for him. And so, Negan hasn't even gotten to a point where I would even consider having any empathy for him. But I guess my whole point is that I feel the same way about him as Tony Soprano, where I don't at all think that he's a good person, but I just am already enjoying watching him and seeing how he moves through the world. He has funny lines. He's like, you see that? I'm everywhere, and this was your shot to prove to me that fundamental fact was sinking in, and you failed, which sucks because your life was about to get so much cooler. Stuff like that. Or one of my favorites, Lucille, you know how she is. She's a stickler for the rules. Just little ways of phrasing things like that. I think are really fun.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. At this point, though, I wish they would develop the character of Negan a little more. He's still kind of cartoony to me, and he's not much of a cartoon yet that I care about or I feel invested in. And I don't understand him, which is frustrating because we've seen him a bunch of times, and he still seems like a one-trick pony, And also, right now, I don't find his shtick about, happy hour at the pussy bar and Dwight eats for free and offering up women as a reward. Right now, it's just not that funny to me.
It's not that admirable. No, it's not funny. That's not funny.
It's meant to be. It's meant to be funny.
And I think what's meant is this guy just doesn't give a shit. I don't think we're supposed to be laughing at that. I don't know. I mean, some people might. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm totally cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I didn't think that was funny. I thought it was just like, what an asshole.
And so I would like to see his character develop. Here's what I'd like for Negan. I'd like to see his character developed a little bit more. I'd like to know what his backstory is and how he got to be where he is now. It would be interesting for me to see where he was pre zombie apocalypse. I'm not that interested in the last couple of years because I can kind of guess what was going on the last couple of years with him. But I'm very interested to see who he was before this all went down. What was his occupation? It's fascinating. So I'd like to learn more about him. I'd like to know who he is and have him be more than just right now. He's a lot of lines and strutting around and a lot of attitude, but I'd like to see what's under there.
Yes, I think that's totally, I'm curious about that too. With characters like Merle, for example, he was totally a one-note character until season 3 when he came back and got developed. And we've only seen Negan for 3 episodes now. And I think the point of Negan right now is to show this one side of him. So I think actually that it's too early for that to show, especially since he's a villain. You know, you get to know the backstory of the villain a little bit later on, usually after. Right now, the point of Negan is just to show that he's a threat and, you know, the facade that he puts on. So I think it's... it would almost be weird for the show to go into that at this point. I don't know. I mean, maybe they could do it in a way that would work, but I think they will get to it. One reason that makes me think they will get to it eventually is right now in the comics, there's a special series called, what is it called? Here's Negan, I think. And it's all about his backstory. But that's, 3 years after he was introduced in the comics. So it's been, it took a while before we got to that.
Right. Yeah.
If that's going on,
enough.
you might be interested in it. It is kind of interesting.
Someday I'll read it. I'll get all caught up. Also, it's a little puzzling why he's sparing Daryl's life. I think probably from just a strategic standpoint, he might consider killing Daryl because Daryl seems like the guy who's most unafraid of him, and it doesn't seem like he's going to be broken anytime soon. So it's kind of a strange little thing he's doing. He's taking a shine to Daryl, oddly, and I can't figure out why.
I know. I feel the same way. I thought, especially when he went to swing his bat at Daryl and Daryl didn't flinch, you'd think that because so much of Negan's game is about dominating and fucking with people and throwing them off balance, that when he couldn't do that to somebody, that it might rile him up a little bit. But instead, he just had a smile on his face, and he actually, Dwight said, Negan's taking a shine to you. So I think what that means is if it's true that Negan likes Daryl, that he sees him as a challenge and maybe he loves a challenge. That's one way to look at it.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he's a little bored at this point.
Yeah.
And so many people are so easy to break these days.
But I was thinking the same thing. I was like, it seems like he would be upset that Daryl isn't affected by him.
Right.
One thing he said that was, I think, a little bit of a jab. It was when he was talking to Dwight and he said, "Oh, you're doing a good job. I think he's going to be broken soon," or whatever. But he said something like, "It takes some people longer than others," which was kind of a jab at Dwight because Dwight went down pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
so maybe he admires Daryl.
To be fair, Dwight had a wife, and it would have been, I think, according to what Negan said, he was going to have to kill one of them. It was going to be Dwight, and that Sherry spoke up pretty fast and said, "No, I'll volunteer to marry him, Negan." And so I don't know how quickly. I mean, if you have somebody you love, if you have your spouse with you, it would be so much easier to get you to do whatever. Daryl doesn't have anybody with him. He didn't come there with somebody he loved. And so, he's not hurting anybody by being defiant other than himself.
So do you think that's what it meant when Daryl said to Dwight, "I get why you did it, why you took it. You were thinking about someone else. That's why I can't."
I think he's thinking about what he did to Glenn. And so he's thinking about what he did to Glenn, that he kind of deserves to be there in that cell eating dog food. So
it was
I don't know.
interesting. Like I didn't. The part that's clear is that Daryl understands Dwight is thinking about Sherry and trying to protect her.
Absolutely, because he was there. He knows.
Yeah, but I was thinking that Daryl, either his friends are outside and maybe to help them, he feels like the thing he needs to do is not be broken by Negan, because if he is, that would not help his friends outside. But it might just be that he feels like he doesn't have anyone counting on him, and he's lost the will to fight, and he doesn't have anyone to protect. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't sound right to say that he's lost the will to fight, though, because he
tried to
definitely
escape.
protecting his integrity. He's not.
Yeah.
He said early on, "I'm not gonna kneel," and he didn't.
Right. He's fighting harder
Yeah,
now than he ever
is.
has.
You're right,
because it's not easy to stay unbroken, and
Right.
he's fighting hard. And he tried to escape. He tried to not kick down the door, and he definitely does not want to be there. And he's definitely still has a lot of fight in
He's
him.
not giving up. Yeah.
Although strategically, he might consider, you know what? You might want to put on an act
Yeah.
like you're going along with it in order to get along and see how you can take down Negan or help. It looks like he's got a couple of friends who, like, it looks like Sherry and Dwight may be teetering on the edge of, especially Sherry might be teetering on the edge of rebellion, and maybe he can enlist their help. And so he's not really playing the long game right now. He's sort of cutting off his nose to spite his face, because this isn't really helping anybody at this point.
Where was he at the end? Like after he said, Negan said, "Who are you?" and he said, "Daryl." Then what happened?
Well, he got beat up, and
He got beat up by
that's
who?
not true.
No,
That's not true. At the very end, they put him back in
they
the
just put
cell,
him
I
back in the
think.
cell. Yeah, and then he was with Dwight.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah,
exactly.
he might still. I mean, when Norman Reedus was on stage in Atlanta and with Andrew Lincoln, and one of the audience members asked them what was their favorite season to shoot, and he said, "Not this one." So it's been tough, but he was so good in this. I mean, a lot of the time he was just being very still, but even then I felt like I really felt him,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great. He's wonderful.
What's wait, one more thing I wanted to say about Negan is he said at one point, just kind of a quick throwaway line, but he said, "You earn what you take." And I just thought, yeah, that's Negan's philosophy on life. He feels like that's how you earn something. You just take it. And that's what he
Yes.
does.
Yep. Those were actually two. That was like number 5 and number 4, Negan and Daryl.
Okay. You didn't have anything else you wanted to say about either one of those?
Well, one thing about Daryl is that I'm surprised he didn't understand that he was totally being set up when the guy left his cell unlocked.
Oh, I didn't even get that.
Oh, he was absolutely being set up. That's why when he went into the courtyard and was looking at all the motorcycles, couldn't decide which one to take. Maybe
They
he was
all
looking
just
for his own.
converged on him.
And they're all like, huh, you were being set up, brother. Of course they're not going to forget to lock your cell back
Yeah.
up.
Okay. Makes sense now.
But yeah. And who knows if Sherry was, well, that's why she said, she's like, get back in your cell.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not going to
gonna be
work and it's going to be
worse.
worse. Yeah.
Negan likes Daryl. Sherry, everyone loves Daryl.
What's not to love except the hair?
I even wondered if Dwight was, in his own way, trying to protect Daryl, because he can't.
Yeah.
I mean, his job is to convert Daryl, so it's in his own interest to do that, because if he doesn't, he's going to be a failure in Negan's eyes. But also, I felt like he was saying, "Dude, come on, just get on board. This is the way it is. It's going to be your best bet here."
Yep. And I think he also understands that part of what Daryl's doing is punishing himself by being defiant.
I don't know, if he just tries to fake it, I would imagine if you're an effective brainwasher / converter, you're going to come across that behavior a lot. And
Carol.
Carol would be good at it, probably.
Yes.
But
She puts on a persona.
Carol has fooled a lot of people, but when she went up against another expert, he called her on it. So did Morgan. So, I think that if in a situation like this, where that's all Negan does is convert everyone he meets, that he's going to probably have ways around stuff like that. That he's not going to just take you at face value. I mean, it's fairly easy to see, especially when you're in a high pressure situation like that, whether somebody's being honest or not. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. But it's just something I was thinking of because I thought about that too.
Right. Yeah. Depends on what kind of judge of character Negan is.
Yeah. Well, you could all right, fine. If you say that you're with me, then do this horrible thing to prove it, or something like that.
Right.
And test them in different ways.
What's your number 4?
My number 4 is the Saviors, which are all extensions of Negan, or at least that's how he wants it. And
interesting.
That, earlier when we came across the Saviors and they asked, "Who are you?" And I don't know who asked, "Who are you?" But the Saviors, we heard them say, "I'm Negan," in last season. And a few of them said that. And it just seemed weird. Like, why are they saying that? But now it totally makes sense to me, because to keep his organization or empire together, he makes everyone an extension of him. They're all aligned. He instills his values into them and loyalty. And it's really fascinating. It's very cult-like. It's also like a dictatorship, like North Korea style. They're all in a re-education camp here. And you either come out on board or you stay in your cell.
Yeah.
And he does it through fear, but also rewards. So it's the stick and the carrot. If you're on board, then you get favors and goods
Pussy
and
parties.
services, and stuff like that. If not, then you get beaten up and you may get killed. And people go for it. Like the doctor says, Negan will take care of you. Trust me. That one big guy said they have it better, and people are kneeling as he walks through. It's totally Stockholm Syndrome on a big scale, to the point where I really like that scene with Dwight and that other guy, where Dwight was saying that this is all there is. And the other guy's all, just because some dude comes smiling in with a bat, you think it's like that guy realized this, he has a hold of your mind. But this happens.
Dwight realized it too, though, because he and Sherry and Tina escaped.
They did.
And it sounds like other people have escaped, some successfully and some not so. And it happens apparently a lot, because they've got guards around to keep people, and to
and
report
people escape
escapees.
North Korea a lot too.
Yeah, they do. And so I'm thinking that they understand that it's a shitty situation.
Well, I don't think all of them do, though, but I think Dwight is conflicted about it, because he escaped, and it was so that Tina could have her medication without having to marry Negan. And then as soon as Tina died, he took Sherry and went right back and asked forgiveness.
Well, I think he was also afraid that if they stayed out there, they were going to die. And that's why he said, when they were in the staircase, he said, "This is better than being dead." So coming back here was better than dying out there. And maybe they felt like, because it was so easy for Tina to die at the hands of a zombie, or in the mouth of a zombie, as it were.
That's not what I thought. I thought Dwight took, you don't sound like you buy it. I haven't even said it yet, but I thought that Dwight took Sherry back there. He asked forgiveness. Then Negan threatened to kill Dwight, and Sherry said, "Don't kill him, I'll marry you." So when Dwight said, "This is better than being dead," he meant at Negan's hands.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Because we didn't see them being threatened outside. We saw Dwight and Sherry take off with Daryl's motorcycle and his crossbow and I guess that was it.
Yeah, but he's shitty with the crossbow. I think that they just got scared about being on their own, and so they went back to Negan. That's my thought. But hey, you know what?
We didn't see it.
Maybe both things are true.
Either way, they went back.
Yep.
And, there's a lot of people who are, they know of people who are not Negan's group, because they go around and steal stuff from him. I guess maybe they would think they wouldn't be too welcome there. But the point is, though, that even if they feel like even if they did go to those people, that Negan would end up finding them. So they're in a situation where they have sort of accepted, or at least, accepted implies it's true, but they just think that they have no other choice.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. And it's interesting that the goons that Negan has, the saviors, are pretty specific. They're a specific type. It's weirdly separated by gender, it seems, from what we can see. The goons around Negan are all dudes.
Yeah, it's really creepy that from what we can tell so far, he's talking about how hot Sherry is, and he took her away from Dwight. That kind of thing really gets under my skin because there was this one movie I saw where I think Michael Madsen, he was like this crook, and he found this nerdy guy who was married to this really attractive girl. I forgot her name, but anyways, he like broke in and kind of seduced this girl away from the guy right in front of him, because it turned out she had this secret longing for danger and chaos, and the guy, this is gonna be horrible, but the guy it killed himself in the bathroom while they were having sex in the other room. And it just kills me, right? It's like, oh god, that's what Negan reminds me of. Like he's asserting his dominance, he's the alpha male, and he's humiliating all the guys and taking their women. It's like a gorilla pack or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awful, man.
You're just hating this, aren't you? You just hate it. You don't even want to see this at all. You wish Negan never came on and that this storyline was not happening. Admit it.
What was the runaway's name?
No comment, huh?
The Eggman.
I can't remember.
Or the Chicken Man.
I mean, I didn't really get his name.
I didn't either. Eggman. What were we? Sorry, that was apropos of very little.
It was called Changing the Subject. Okay, let's move on. My number 3 is Daryl, which, like I said, I thought this was one of his best episodes for a few reasons. Because Daryl, to put him in a situation like this, where he's at his most raw and most helpless, literally naked and dirty, is fascinating with him because he's such a strong character, and Reedus did such a great job. And I actually, when Negan said, "What's your name?" and he said Daryl, I was like, fuck yeah. I was happy that he didn't capitulate. And I was also like, oh shit, what's going to happen now? So I was happy to find myself feeling that way because, with Daryl, I've had some criticism that I think he's too cool for school. But in this situation, I was happy that he didn't crack. And I also loved that he did break down crying at one point, because I do think that would have been too cool if he didn't show any kind of being affected by all of this. And that was a really touching scene, I thought. Yeah.
He conveyed a lot this episode without saying much at all. There's a lot in his face. And Norman Reedus is a really terrific actor. I liked him very much in this episode.
I thought it was interesting. I think what Dwight did was show him a Polaroid of Glenn.
Yeah,
right?
It was hard to tell what it was exactly. He probably could have shown him a Polaroid of anyone that they've pulverized. And they could have just said, hey, this is Glenn.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he played Crying by, I think, Roy Orbison.
He did.
Which was really interesting because it's so on the nose, for one thing.
Yep.
But I loved it. And it's something different, which I could see moving Daryl to some emotion, because he's had to deal with this same song for who knows how many days, day and night. And to all of a sudden hear something different just could, right after seeing that Polaroid, could cause a shift in your emotions.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're really breaking him. He had a big A on his shirt, which reminded me of Train Car A and
Terminus.
It's like a recurring motif, but I noticed the other captives had other letters on their sweatshirts.
They did, like they were Dr. Seuss characters or something. Yeah, it was really funny. So I didn't quite understand that.
I think it's sort of dehumanizing, but I don't.
Like you're assigned a letter until because we're all Negan, but also for now you can just use the A, which is funny because the runaway guy on the road referred to Dwight as D.
Right.
And I thought, oh, maybe that's just short
Something
for
with
Dwight.
that, yeah.
But maybe it's because he initially had the D on his sweatshirt. Maybe.
Yeah, and they couldn't give Daryl a D because that would be confusing.
That would be confusing.
I mean, I thought the reason why they called Dwight D in the first place was so as not to tip off comic book readers that we were meeting the saviors. But then, the in-story reason, I thought, until you just said that, I thought was just, okay, well, we'll just say that sometimes people call him D and sometimes Dwight, because I have friends like that. I call my friend Eric E sometimes.
I call you J all the time.
Yeah, that's right. People call me J all the time. All right. That's my number 3. Well, wait, it's one more thing. So he didn't flinch at the bat, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I liked Negan faking us out because we're so close to what happened with that bat that I flinched, like,
Yeah,
oh, shit.
yeah.
And then he walked away and he just started whistling, and his guys started beating up Daryl. So I wonder if that was the signal.
It was sort of like a little dog whistle.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, I'm going to whistle and you're going to pounce. Yeah, very clever.
Okay, before we do our your number 3,
Yes.
this is our first sponsor. This is Casper, which is an obsessively engineered mattress at a shockingly fair price. That's a really good description. Things that make it great, I'm going to go over in these categories: quality, cost, and convenience, or low risk. So quality, an in-house team of engineers spent thousands of hours developing Casper. That's basically the one product of this company. They also have a pillow and maybe some sheets, but it's all about the mattress. And the mattress combines this springy latex, but also supportive memory foam. So that combination gives you support, but softness. They say it has just the right sink and just the right bounce, and it feels really good. And also it has a breathable design, so it sleeps cool, so you don't get too hot or too cold at night. It feels really cozy.
That must be nice.
It is nice. I wish they made one big giant one that all of our audience could get together and take a nap on and try it out. They should do that.
That would be nice.
And it looks nice. It has a sleek design, and it comes in this little box, and then you open the box and it's like magic. It just kind of starts growing like one of those chia pets or something.
You can watch the video on their website. I've watched it. It's cool.
Yeah. So that's quality. Cost. They created one perfect mattress sold directly to consumers, eliminating commission-driven inflated prices. So mattresses of this quality can cost over $1,500, but Casper's cost $500 for a twin size, $750 for a full, $850 for a queen, $950 for a king. So just like a lot of our sponsors, they aim is to make a really great product at a lower price because you can get it direct online. Convenience, it's completely risk-free. So they offer free delivery, free returns, and a 100-night home trial, which is
so cool.
Really cool. So they'll drop it off. You can try it out, and you can sleep on it for 3 months. And then if you don't like it, they pick it up. They refund you everything. No hassle, nothing. They understand that if you want to buy a mattress, that you should be able to try it out and see if you like it before you commit, which is more than you can say for, I think, I don't think other mattress companies are going to let you take it home and sleep on it for 3 months.
No.
It's free shipping and returns to the US and Canada. A few more things. Time magazine named it one of the best inventions of 2015. They're made in America, and Duncan got one and he loves it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, him and Erica.
Awesome.
Yeah. So special offer to you guys. You get $50 towards any mattress by visiting casper.com/TWDC and using offer code TWDC. Terms and conditions apply. So that's CASPER.com/TWDC. And thanks to Casper for your support.
Thank you, Casper.
Okay. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is I really liked the little scene between... I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I'm going to call him the runaway. But did you notice at the beginning, he's also was taking care of the chickens?
Yeah, and he looked depressed.
He looked very sad around chickens. And I love chickens. I'm like, really? Why so sad? Anyway, I can imagine why he's so sad. Honestly, I'm just kidding. So I like the little scene between the runaway and Dwight. I thought it was a tense little scene, and it played really well. I really thought both actors did a wonderful job. And the runaway brought up a really good point about, as we mentioned, that there's only one Negan and there's a lot of them. And why is he still in power? He's just one guy. But I really thought it's neat because it kind of alludes to something larger happening. So I think that they're foreshadowing that something is going to happen with the Negan group because this can't stand,
I mean, it's a good point, but look, look at what's happened in our history. I keep bringing it up, but North Korea, a whole country, Hitler had so many people following him doing horrible things. It's a cult of personality. And so this is a small potatoes compared to some things that have happened in our world.
Yeah,
in real
but
life.
I thought about Hitler today, and I thought about, there's that famous inside job assassination attempt on Hitler. And it's a pretty cool thing. I mean, it wasn't cool. It was actually real unbelievably sad and tragic. And
Because it didn't work.
Because it didn't work. But he had a lot of people who thought he was completely mad and who wanted to really thought, okay, this is ridiculous. We're losing the war. Let's take this madman out before he takes us all down. So yeah, I think it foreshadows a large insurrection that might be happening. Who knows? What do I know?
No, I mean, you could be right. I think before the end of this is over, it's pretty much, I would say, inevitable that some people are going to turn against him because they already are. They already have
exactly.
to some degree or another, and it won't stay stagnant.
I hope not, because
way.
somebody needs to
How
take
could
down
it?
Negan.
Couldn't just have him just keep on going along just fine, and then the series ends in 2017 or
Yeah,
2018.
right. Yeah, there it is. Okay, we're moving on now. We're just gonna leave Daryl there. Bye, everybody. I mean, that's kind of what I suggested a couple weeks ago. But anyway, I love that it was a sad thing too, because that guy at this point he had nothing left, and he's just shoot me, please. Put me out of my misery. I can't go back there. And the only thing that actually got him to turn around and start walking back was the threat of the people that he liked back at the sanctuary. And it's so sad. And then there's Dwight killing him, shooting him in the back.
Why did he do that?
He did it so that he could bring back the zombie.
How did he get him back?
He probably...
Put him on the back of the motorcycle?
You know what? That's a good question. Probably what happened is he walked the motorcycle, because the motorcycle wasn't drivable at that point. He walked the motorcycle back to the sanctuary and went and got a car and came back and got the dude before he had
chained him up.
That happens. That happens pretty fast.
What I didn't get,
I don't know.
Maybe I didn't get it because I thought, right, so the guy's like, just kill me, it's fine. I want you to, please. And then Dwight threatened his people he cares about, which is what we were talking about before, Lois Lane, aka Superman's kryptonite. That and then he said, you got me. So I thought that meant, okay, I don't want you to hurt the people I care about, I will come back with you. And then Dwight killed him. So
yep.
I didn't get it. Like, if he was just going to kill him, why not just kill him and not go through that? I'm just kind of confused about what happened there.
He changed his mind, I think. I think at first he was going to bring him back as as his captive, basically, under threat of hurting the people that he liked. But then he probably just felt a little bit of sympathy.
So he put him out
maybe
of his
something,
misery.
Put him out of his misery.
And yet didn't shoot him in the head.
Well, see, if he had shot him in the head, he couldn't bring him back as a zombie. And this way he could still win points and earn a couple brownie points, because now he's got the zombie to put in the zombie pen. I'm not sure what the zombie pen is all about. Is it like a training facility?
It seemed kind of like that, but I don't know yet. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I have an idea of what it might be because of the comics, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So,
Groovy man, what's your number 3?
Mine was Dwight, and
or your number 2 rather.
Yeah, we got Dwight's story. So Dwight and Tina and Sherry left and stole meds because Negan said he would only give Tina meds if she married him, because meds cost too many points and they just weren't earning enough points.
Right.
Then when Tina died, which we saw in that episode with the Fat Trick Fuel Company, Sherry and Dwight decided to go back and ask forgiveness, and then Negan was going to kill Dwight, but Sherry offered to marry Negan to save Dwight's life, and Sherry is super hot. And then Dwight got the iron too, so he could have some kind of a punishment. And that's why it makes sense in the title sequence when Jeffrey D. Morgan comes up that we see an iron in the fire. So now Dwight is one of his top guys, and I don't know if, I guess he's on board and being repeatedly belittled and humiliated by Negan. I thought it was interesting that he's got Daryl's stuff. He even has I think he has his angel wing vest.
Yes, he does. His crossbow, his motorcycle, and his angel wing vest.
Yeah, and he's just like waving it in front of Daryl.
Yep.
I think I'm getting the hang of this thing.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's almost like he wants to be Daryl.
Yeah, I know. And but I also just think it would really get under Daryl's skin to see all his superhero accoutrements. Yes.
That's my crossbow.
It doesn't even look good on you. You don't know how to use it or anything.
Right.
At the end, Dwight was staring at the zombie sliding up and down a pole. And I wondered what that meant. I was wondering if it meant that zombie is trapped just like me.
Yeah, and the zombie was kind of kneeling.
Oh,
did you notice that?
No.
The zombie was going down on one leg, sort of. And so it almost looked like the zombie was kneeling.
A reflection of his own situation.
Like maybe he's trapped just like that zombie.
Bonk over the head. So we got, I think we appreciate Dwight's character more now, right? I do.
Yeah.
Knowing what a situation he's been through.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a lot of sympathy for him, for sure. And it was interesting seeing a slice of his life at the very beginning, the intro with the music from the Jam, and we learn about how he watches old episodes of Who's the Boss. That's kind of endearing, right? That's a little bit endearing. And then and he's not even like. It's not even being tortured like it would be for me. And he drinks with a woman who looks kind of like the female version of him. It was so weird. I was like, wow, she kind of looks like him. Kind of interesting. And, he carves a little wooden figure, and that's kind of endearing. Maybe he's making a chess set. And he makes a sandwich. It looks like an amazing sandwich. I mean, you have to enjoy the little things. And unfortunately, you also see that he's a total bully. And he's like... Yeah. How he gathers up all the ingredients. And then, of course, he throws the dog food sandwich. He makes this beautiful sandwich, and then he makes a nasty one for
And then later he even talks
Daryl.
about feeding shit sandwiches to somebody.
Yeah, that's fun.
So the quality of your sandwich is an indication of your station in life.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And that looked like a great sandwich, even in non-apocalyptic standards.
I'm not into fried egg sandwiches.
But it had tomato, and the bread looked really good.
Sure. A little homemade pickle thing going on.
I love fried egg sandwiches.
There you go. I think, hey, dinner. Just saying.
I enjoyed that scene a lot because of the peppy music, which you kind of forget because you get inundated with Easy Street, but it was a different song. It was Town of Malice from the Jam.
Mm-hmm.
And it was saying, better stop dreaming of the quiet life because it's the one we'll never know, and quit running for that runaway bus because those rosy days are few, and stop apologizing for the things you've never done because time is short and life is cruel, but it's up to us to change this town called Malice. So there's a lot of the music in this episode was very notable, and it was peppy, but it was a juxtaposition with the crap that's really going on.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that montage. It was very mobster like of him going around doing his rounds, taking half of people's stuff, but because of the music it almost seemed kind of fun in a twisted way.
Yeah. And that was my number 2, by the way, was the intro.
Mm-hmm. I loved the intro. My number 1 is music and interesting juxtapositions of sunny and dark, and the intro was a great example of that, especially showing who's the boss, which is appropriate because Negan's the boss. And
right.
Also, it gives a little bit of a feeling of, in Negan's world, you get to watch TV sitcoms. That's pretty awesome,
Where are they getting their electricity from?
Easy Street. They've got some zombies on a treadmill outside.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't it?
Yes, it actually would. You could make it into like the gym, because you could run like right on the treadmill, maybe in front of the zombie, and then the
Yeah.
zombie's behind you, and then you run, and then you generate it. Yeah,
Or
that.
you have put them on the treadmill and you just hang a picture of a baby in front of them.
right, exactly. Doesn't have to be much. You can even like have it be like a wind chime. And
Yeah,
they'll
I
go
mean-
crazy for a wind chime.
I think this is going to be the last episode. It's going to be like solving perpetual energy or something, harnessing the power of the Zeds. That intro reminded me of. I don't want to give it away. It's been a long time, but the Hatch and Lost, the season 2.
Don't give it
opener,
away, man.
You know what I mean with Desmond.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was so cool because it's so unexpected. It's like, well, the tone is off here, but it was fascinating. So
And
I
you
love that.
didn't actually understand where he was.
Right.
and then-
You're like, what's going on for a second? Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved the torture song. I thought,
Easy Street.
yeah, not the song itself, although it's not a bad song, actually. People
Really?
were making fun of it, but yeah, it's peppy. It's sung by Petra Hayden, who's been in some cool rock bands that I like. And it's great because it's unbearably sunny, but it starts out with that really harsh drum beat that Daryl flinched at a couple of times. Boom, cha, cha. And it's the opposite of what's actually happening. They're saying, oh, we're breaking out the good champagne. We're sitting pretty on the gravy train. It's like, nope, not necessarily. But also, it, like I said before, it's sort of saying if you're on Negan's side, then maybe you'll feel like you are on Easy Street. So I thought that worked on a few different levels, and it's fun to see who's the boss and hear these songs in the show that, it's so dark. And same thing with Negan's personality. I mean, it really fits that he would have these songs, that song, because he comes in and he's cracking jokes and stuff like that while he's doing these really horrible things. So it fits.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What's your number one?
All right. So my number one was that this is the third episode in a row that's been like a standalone sort of episode of a single story, a single thread. The first episode being they were all in the Grove, for lack of a better word for where they were exactly. Second one, they were in the Kingdom. Other places too, but mainly it focused on who was in the Kingdom. And the third episode, here they are at the Sanctuary. And so really my number one is the standalone episodes are sort of what they are. But I can't wait to see what's going. I'm looking forward to when they don't do standalones anymore, when they have sort of an integrated storyline with cutting to people altogether. Maybe they don't have to pay attention to everybody every episode, but I sure would like to check in and see what's going on in Alexandria, for instance. I'm dying to know where Tara is. We haven't seen Tara in a long time. And wow. And I've even forgotten his name. He wears glasses. He's out with Tara.
Heath.
Thank you, Heath. Yes, Heath. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of the old friends that we haven't seen yet.
I'm a little worried about that guy because he just starred in Straight Outta Compton. And so I'm like, wow, his star is really rising right when he's going on Walking Dead. And then suddenly he's